an emerging and notable player in the real estate industry. Soon to be listed on Vilisavi board of the Colombo Stock Exchange. Promises on building your future. Myland IPO. Atara Capital Partners, financial advisor and manager to the offer.
A very good evening to all of you. On behalf of Myland Development Limited, I warmly welcome each and every one of you present here, both physically and virtually through the Zoom and Facebook platforms. Today marks the momentous launch of the initial public offering of Myland Development Limited. Before we move any further, I would like to introduce the distinguished panelists. First, I would like to introduce Mr. Rohan Senviratna, Managing Director, Atara Capital Partners, Manager to the issue. Mr. Nalin Pereira, Managing Director, Myland Developments Limited. Mr. Chandan Vijay Sundara, Vice President, Investment Banking, Atara Capital Partners, Manager to the issue. Mr. W.D. Premachandra, Chairman, Myland Developments Limited. Mrs. Iresha Disanayaka, Executive Director, Myland Developments Limited, and Mr. Ajit Alhakon, Independent Director, Myland Developments Limited. As we move on to the proceedings of the day, I believe it is mandatory to look back at the wonderful journey of Myland Development Limited since its inception.
In a world of never-ending evolvement, we constantly find ourselves in the middle of complexity and chaos, in means of forgetting about the outside world and finding serenity. We all need a space to drop anchor, a space that we can call our own, a land that gives us tranquility, freedom, and happiness, a land that can be called Myland. Myland was created to lend a hand in making this dream a reality. As a place that helps build the future by bringing the ultimate real estate. We are Myland, here to build your future. Since its inception in 2017, Myland has been successfully providing its customers with a part of an ensemble to build their land their way by providing the best and most convenient property solution.
As the Managing Director, I am proud of the excellent progress we have made during the past couple of years.
Myland specializes in the sale of all types of residential and commercial properties.
We believe in providing our customers with the most professional service while still maintaining a personal touch, paying close attention to their requirements, thus guaranteeing ultimate satisfaction.
Through the mission to build satisfied customers and delighted lifetime employees, Myland Developments Limited continues to march forward with the vision of becoming the benchmark for the best and most trusted real estate solution provider in Sri Lanka.
We have been swiftly establishing our place in the industry as one of Sri Lanka's leading real estate and property development companies by delivering ultimate satisfaction to all our customers.
We follow a set of esteemed values that include professionalism, integrity, trust, customer focus and quality to deliver the best service while catering to the unique needs of each customer. By staying true to these values and by always delivering the best service, we are steadily projecting our vision further while continuously striving to improve our facilities and services, overcoming all obstacles.
Along with Mr. Nalin Pereira as the Managing Director, Myland Developments Limited have an experienced board of directors, including Mr. W.D. Premachandra as the Chairman, Non-Executive Independent Director, Mrs. D.T.I. Disanayaka as an Executive Director, and Mr. S.A. Alahakon as a Non-Executive Independent Director, versatile in the real estate industry with many years of experience. Further, the dynamic and well-experienced professional team of employees at Myland assists the company to bring its vision to reality.
We don't view ourselves as merely being involved in a business, but rather a company with the attitude of social responsibility to share our wealth of knowledge and wisdom with our customers.
Prioritizing the mantra, remarkable value, unbeatable location. As of now, Myland Developments Limited has completed more than 25 projects and have many more ongoing projects. As an emerging and notable player in the real estate sector, Myland Developments Limited is here to build a better and brighter future for Sri Lanka. The recent years have brought a significant attention to the real estate industry in Sri Lanka, as the average weighted fixed deposit rate has suddenly decreased to 5.62% in 2021. The general public has diverted money in fixed deposits to invest in land and property. Investing in land and property has much higher price appreciation potential, facilitating the opportunity to generate higher investment returns in comparison to fixed deposits. With the development of the expressway chain, the highly visible growth could be seen out of Colombo, since the expressway provides the ability to surpass the routine traffic congestion. The land prices near the expressway entrances have increased significantly compared to the rest of the country.
It is our plan to expand our market by commencing land development projects in other parts of the country, especially in the areas that have the potential for development, particularly driven by the expansion of road networks, which enables easy access to different parts of the country.
Sri Lanka has witnessed a continuous upsurge in land prices during the past decade. Land valuation indicator for Colombo district has increased to 155.1 during the first half of 2021, and overall land price in the Western Province has increased by 74% from 2018 to 2021. At present, Sri Lanka is witnessing a population growth of 0.6%, which will increase the demands of land, triggering an increase in land price further. Even the current pandemic has been a blessing in disguise, as it has transformed the modern working culture and thinking, especially among the millennials. Moreover, even organizations have identified cost benefits by having their employee base working from home, which will turn into an unavoidable trend in the near future.
We also see that we have the potential to enter the construction sector with building houses and housing segments. We expect to generate the required funds internally or in the form of equity or debt funding.
Developing on the rapid success they have had over the years, Myland Developments Limited is hoping to expand their excellence with the use of their strong values to create a better future for the ever-expanding happy clientele of Myland. Myland, building your future.
Thank you very much for being with us. Now, let's move on to the opening remarks video of Mr. Rohan Senaviratna, Managing Director, Atara Capital Partners.
Myland IPO. Atara Capital financial advisor and manager to the offer.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It is my pleasure and privilege to welcome you for this IPO launch ceremony of Myland Developments Limited. The company started as a family company in 2017. However, over the years, it has grown in stature in terms of business and financial performance. During the financial year 2021, the company reached its pinnacle in terms of performance. Therefore, at that time, we as the manager of the issue engaged and started preparing the company for an IPO. We noticed the performance gain from the previous financial year continued into the current financial year of 21-22. Thus, makes us confident that it is the right time to list this company. The IPO at a price of 12 rupees is attractively priced with a PE multiple of 7.9 times, which is a dream of any capital market investor. In terms of company's corporate governance structures, the board of directors, the promoter shareholders have brought in independent professionals as non-executive independent directors, and therefore the company's risk management structures have been strengthened. In the long run, such measures to strengthen the corporate governance structures will assist to protect the rights of the minority shareholders. We also employed a very cautious and a reasonable approach in terms of our business valuation. We've ensured that the revenues and the costs are at best estimates so that the company is able to achieve the desired performance depicted in the prospectus. As the managers to the IPO, we are confident that the company's future performance will reflect good returns to both the promoters and the new shareholders that are coming via the IPO. Therefore, in conclusion, I would like to invite all of you to subscribe for this IPO and be part of the growth story of this company in the years to come. Thank you.
Thank you. Now we shall move on to the investor presentation video of Mr. Chandana Vijayasundara, Vice President, Investment Banking, Atara Capital Partners.
Myland IPO. Atara Capital Partners, financial advisor and manager to the offer.
I welcome all the participants in this event for the IPO briefing event of Myland Developments Limited. In my presentation, I will go through in detail the operations of the company and the financial performances, as well as the potential for the company and the future financial prospects of Myland together with the IPO. Myland Development Limited was incorporated in 2017 March as a limited liability company. Mr. Nalin, who is the founder director of the company, had this view to provide opportunity to other Sri Lankan to hold a land for their residential purposes or as an investment purpose with an affordable price. With this noble view, he has started and launched all the land projects in the past, and affordability factor of the lands was a key thought that he has been carrying out, and it is continuing to the future in all his projects. From the beginning in 2017, company has now completed more than 20 land development projects with a sizable number of plots, and they have completed sale of more than 300 land plots, and there are 4 ongoing projects which generates continuous revenue for the company. Key highlight during this period is the revenue growth, where the company was able to register 36% compounded annual growth rate over the last 4 years. Plus, they have secured a 15% net margin in financial year 2021. Even though the company is 4 years old, the company's managed by a well-experienced team who has vast experience in real estate developments as well as the financial and accounting disciplines. So within this short period of time, the company has propelled and performed very well as a startup. The company has mainly focused on Western province, where there is a significant increase in demand for the lands for residential purpose and commercial purposes. As key investment highlights for the investors, the demand in the real estate sector is a key factor, where the company is also focusing on affordable land projects where many people can afford to buy a land plot, as well as the recent drops in interest rates and the low interest rate regime still prevailing, provide an upside for the land investment as a long-term and secure investment. The development in the infrastructure, especially the expressways, has created a fresh demand in those areas. To name few locations with high demand, Gampaha, Kadawatha, Kalutara, Dompe are the main focus of the land investors, where there's a significant growth recorded in the past. When it comes to the company, the experience of the management team in selecting and launching land projects successfully with the vast experience in the past and the key financial performances, especially recorded during the recent financial years, including the 6 months interim period up to 30th September 2020, are main highlights for investors to consider this investment as a viable investment opportunity. Also, as the company focuses on affordable land plots, which has quick turnaround time, enables the company to deploy funds to different land development projects at a faster rate, which continues to generate revenues for the company. As shown in the past financial years, the company has recorded more than 36% growth in financial year 2021 compared to the previous year. If we talk about the IPO, the shares are offered at 12 rupees per share to raise rupees 75 million by offering 6.25 million shares to the public, and the dilution will be approximately 17.2% of the IPO. IPO price of 12 rupees will offer a 15.8% upside for the investors as compared to the discounted cash flow valuation of 13 rupees and 90 cents. And when we compare the market aspect of that, the PE ratio is about 7.9 times as compared to 16 times PE of the real estate sector, which is a very attractive proposition for the investors in the IPO. And the post dilution, the IPO shareholders will hold about 17.2%, while the promoter shareholders hold in the balance shareholding. And company expects that they will able to pay dividends from financial year 2024 amounting to approximately 20% of the profits earned in the year. Post IPO, there will be 36.25 million shares, and at the IPO price of 12 rupees, the market capitalization will be 435 million at the time of listing. To elaborate on growth potential for the company, there are two key factors. One is the prevailing low interest rate regime, where the central bank is very keen to maintain the interest rates at single digit, which we have seen from the early parts of 2020, assisting the company to record a significant growth in revenues. Still, the fixed deposit rates hovering around 6%, which led the customers to divest their funds towards alternative investments like lands, which has created the demand and also surge in land prices. Even though there is an increase in treasury bill and treasury bond rates recently, still the environment is favorable for the real estate industry, and with the central bank's policy, it will continue in the medium to long run. The increase in demand for the lands and increase in prices in the recent past is backed by the investments in expressways by the government, where the demand for those areas has been increased significantly. With the ease of access to many parts of the country, the customers are more willing to go for a land plot on those areas than going away from those road networks. Especially with the investment in the Central Expressway, there's a fresh demand for the lands in Gampaha, Wayangoda, Yakkala areas as well as in Mirigama and beyond that Kurunangala and Kandy areas as well. Those areas, the demand is booming with the interest of many people where they can daily travel to Colombo even with those access points. Supported by the low interest rate regime and the infrastructure developments, the consumers are positively looking at the real estate sector, where the land valuation indicator published by the CBSL also suggests 9.5% increase in 2021 first half as compared to the previous years. And there's a continuous increase in this land valuation index, suggesting the lands are in good demand as well as prices are going up continuously. To give a snapshot, the demand for the lands also will be supported by the growth in population and increasing per capita income with the positive investor sentiment towards the real estate development, as well as the more demand for the lands for the residential and commercial purposes will keep the long-term momentum of the industry with prices are increasing. Core business operation of the company remains as the purchase of lands and development of those properties for sale as plots to the customers, where the company selects lands based on many criteria like geographical condition, ease of access, and the availability of infrastructure. Also looking at the legal and regulatory aspect, where the ease of obtaining approvals is a key matter for the company to fastly develop and sell the properties in the future without any problems. The operations are led by the managing director who has vast experience in this industry and provide the guidance to the senior management team as well as the entire set of employees to successfully implement the business strategies. As a part of their business, in addition to selling lands at outright, the company also provides opportunity for the customers to purchase lands under easy payment scheme, where if some customer is not able to pay the lump sum, then they can offer a payment scheme which is extending maximum up to 5 years and enjoy the benefits of holding a land. The board of the company consists of 4 directors. 2 of them are executive directors and 2 of them are non-executive independent directors. The chairman of the company is a veteran banker who has over 40 years of experience, especially in the SME sector development as well as business financing. Managing Director Mr. Myland Pereira provides the overall guidance to the team with the strategic direction, and he is possessing about 22 years of experience working in many real estate development companies and has vast experience in development activities as well as sales and marketing. Mrs. Sarangani Disanayaka, also an executive director who has started this business with Mr. Pereira. She is having about 15 years of experience in financial and accounting aspects, where she provides the guidance to the team when it comes to those matters. The other non-executive director, Mr. Ajit Alakon, is a member of the Chartered Institute of Sri Lanka and holds more than 40 years experience in this segment as an auditor and as well as an accountant, also as a banker. So with the combination of those key positions, the company is running in a transparent manner with corporate governance practices are ensured, where both non-executive independent directors are taking part in the audit committee, remuneration committee and required transactions review committee. They ensure that business processes are happening in a proper manner and the internal controls are followed, as well as they make sure that financial statements are prepared in a transparent manner, where the investment will be able to gauge the financial performance of the company without any delays or without any doubts. So this corporate governance aspect has been brought in this financial year also with the view to obtain the listing, which will help the company in its continuous growth process. Day-to-day operations of the company are led by the AGM operations, who has the overall responsibility to ensure that the business operations are carried out in a smooth manner, and is also responsible for land projects to ensure that projects are selected properly and they are launched at the set dates and the sales is completed without any hiccups. He is supported by the manager who is acting as the head of sales and marketing, who has experience in sales and marketing activities, especially in real estate sector. And also the accountant of the company makes sure that the company's financials are prepared in a proper manner. So with these practices and functions, we can ensure that company will smoothly function like it's happening right now to the future, where the investors will be informed of all relevant information without any delays, where they can make transparent decisions. Then we move to a very important aspect of this presentation, where we show you the financial performance and financial position of the company during the past and what we are forecasting for the future. The company has recorded 36% compound annual growth rate of revenue in the past 4 years. That is a very attractive proposition for a startup, because with these all the challenges of finding capital in the growth phase, they have able to reach the revenue of 167 million by the end of financial year 2021, and this is a very attractive position for this nature of company, where they are managing small capital base with bank funding, and that is supporting the growth with the proper strategies of the management. The company started with 66 million revenue in the financial year 17-18, which is the full year of operation, and was able to breach the 150 million revenue target in next financial year. But unfortunately, in the financial year 19-20, the Easter Sunday attacks there's a setback for the company, where the revenue has dropped to 120 million again. But in financial year 2021, they managed to register significant growth, where the revenue has gone up to 167 million. In financial year 2021, they have managed to record a gross profit of 30% with a 15% net margin, which is very good for any company in this industry. And the ROE and ROA remains at high levels during the period. The growth momentum recorded in financial 2021 has been continuing to the financial year 21-22, where the company has recorded 119 million revenue in the first 6 months up to 30th September 2021, and recorded a 33 million net profit after tax, which is a high profit margin compared to the previous years, especially driven by the projects which they have done recently, which has given them better margins with the recent increases in the land prices. With the IPO funds of 75 million rupees, we expect the first 2 years to grow at a faster rate, where when the company has the funds available with them, where they can go for new land developments with high values, and also the improved equity base, we assume that the company will be in a better position to secure low-cost borrowings, as well as leverage on those funding lines to acquire more projects and execute them without a restriction in the funds. What I have seen in the past is the majority of the funding came through bank borrowings, which has led to high interest rates. But with this equity infusion, we expect the company will be in a good position to launch more land development projects with better values. So with that, we expect a revenue of 336 million in the financial year 22-23, supported by the IPO funds with a 36% year-on-year growth, and we expect that growth to be continued for the next financial year and continue at a 19% revenue growth from financial year 24-25 and 25-26. So in the financial year 25-26, the company is planning to record a revenue of about 640 million, which is doable with the current trends. With this revenue growth, we assume the gross profit to be around 25% to the future, which is in line with the historical average, and it is taken on a very conservative basis, because if any unforeseen events happen, this margin will compensate for any drops in results. Also, the low-cost operating structure, where company will be able to maintain at least a 10% net profit margin to the future, even with interest cost, where the certain projects will be funded through borrowings. With the increase in revenues and 25% gross margin expected for the future, the company at a minimum will be able to secure a 10% net margin throughout the forecasted period, which we assume will be continued to the future. At present, the company is paying a 14% tax as a SME company, but with the revenue increase in financial year 24-25 exceeding rupees 500 million, the company will fall into the tax bracket of 24%, where it will be continued thereafter. But they will manage to maintain the 10% margin despite the increase in prices. These financial performance are very lucrative from the investor's perspective, especially for a company which is a startup, and considering the demand in the real estate sector at present, which will continue to the long run. For the investors, this will be a viable investment. As we mentioned earlier, the PE ratio, which is about 7.9 times, is an attractive price point with an upside for the investors who are purchasing shares in the IPO. So the financial performances are expected to continue in this manner, and the company will continue to deploy their strategies to develop the business in the long run. Since it is the objective of the IPO to use the IPO proceeds for the future growth of the business, company will start 3 new projects where they will complete the projects by 31st March 2022, and the revenue is expected to derive to the company in the financial year 22-23. Apart from the cash flows factored in our valuation through the core business, the company also looking at a new business vertical where they will start the property construction in 2 to 3 years time in the future, which has been identified as a key demand sector, especially by the middle income earners, and the affordability of the housing units will be ensured, which will lead the company to secure better sales and better margins also. So this has not been considered to the forecast, where we expect it to be passed to the investors by way of an upside for the IPO investors. Since the company expect to start those activities in 2 to 3 years time, the funding will be sourced from internal generated funds or bank borrowings, as the case may be, or there will be opportunity for the investors to look for a capital infusion, maybe through a private placement or a right issue, but it's a bit early to comment on that. But definitely company is very keen to enter into this segment. So the future remains very bright for the company, as well as who are joining with them in the IPO, where those new projects as well as the investor prospects will generate reasonable yields for the investors. So we invite the investors to look into the prospectus and the financial statements and the research report prepared for the company, which detail the approach for the valuation and which sets out the business operations and the past financial performances. Based on that, we like to invite all the investors to make a decision and invest in this IPO, which will help the company also to grow, and the investors will be able to grow together with the company's growth. With that, we conclude this presentation. Thank you very much for being participated for this event.
Thank you, Mr. Vijay Sundara, for your valuable insight in both the historical and the future performances of the company. Now, we move to the most awaited moment of the day for you guests, the Q&A session. You can forward your valuable questions to the chat box. You may limit your questions to the information provided in the prospectus and the investor memorandum.
Yeah, there's a question with the escalating cost structures. Do you foresee, is it viable to put up apartments? I think I will answer this question. I'll hand over the question to the chairman to describe the business. I believe we are not going to get into the apartment business.
As Rohan said, we are now in the real estate business, land business, and in the short period, I don't think we have any plans to go into apartment business because we are a small company. Maybe we will go into dwelling housing, maybe small timers, but not for apartment business.
Thank you, Chairman. The next question is to Mr. Vijay Sundara. 6 months financial year 2022 cost of sales 69 million, up by 8%, when revenue up by 40% to 119 million. Any special reasons for the lower costs?
Yeah, actually, in the last year, if you look at the inventory level, there was about 89 million inventory, which was purchased at a lower cost, especially in two projects in Mirigama and Kadawatha. There were certain gains obtained through the low-cost land inventories. That's why when the sales have gone up by 40%, the cost of sale value remains at a lower level, and it has resulted a higher margin because of the low value of the inventories.
Thank you. We move on to the next question. What is your decent payout policy? I believe this is on the dividends that the company is planning to pay from 2024 onwards. Mr. Vijay Sundara?
As of now, company is not paying any dividend, but from financial year 23-24, company is expecting to maintain about 20% dividend payout out of the net profits earned.
Okay, the next question is back to the chairman. How is the business model of Myland different from recently listed real estate company? I believe the question is on the recently listed prime land residencies. The question is, why is it different? What is the difference in the business model of Myland Developments as opposed to prime residencies?
Of course, Prime Residencies is a big company and they are concentrating on big apartment project, whereas we are in the land sales business right now. And there is a far different types of projects. They are doing apartments, we are actually in the sales of properties. We buy properties and we develop that and then sell it. So that's the main difference.
There's an annex to that question. The question is, what is the turnaround time of a project? I think we can answer that in general terms.
Usually, our practice in the last few years is about 6 months maximum for a project to be, say, from the purchase to complete. But we don't expect that that we will be able to maintain that throughout. It could be 6 months to 9 months.
Yeah, the next one is on, again, the dividend payout policy. The question is, when can we expect the first dividend and how much? I think in the prospectus there was a disclosure on that. Mr. Vijay Sundara?
Yeah, as explained earlier, the dividend is expected in financial year 23-24 with a 20% payout out of the net profits. The reason the company is not paying dividend before that is since the company is in the growth stage, the focus will be on reinvesting the money that they are earning to the business, and that's why we have projected faster revenue growth also. But once the company is getting stabilized and it earns more profits and more cash flow is available, the company will consider dividend payments from 2023-24 financial year.
Okay, as we wait for the next question, we are taking all questions, ladies and gentlemen. We are not sort of screening and taking the good ones. This question is, where do you see the post-IPO trading price range of Myland, prime land and trading below IPO price? Now, although I have said we'll take all the questions, this relates to the secondary market. The scope of this presentation is primarily on the IPO and the primary market. So unfortunately, we will not be able to answer that question because that will be decided by the investors perhaps after the company commences trading. The next question is, what are the future projects? I believe we can give an overview of the immediately ongoing projects in hand and perhaps with some vision for the future.
Currently, there are 3 land projects we are developing. 2 are at Dompe and 1 is at Developit. And after this IPO funds, we will be at least selecting few projects to cover that entire funds we have collected for new properties. I think we may be able to, in average, to buy 3 properties and go for the next year's turnover.
The next question, I think we might have to take MD's input on this as well. Majority of your other income coming from share investments, 9.7 million, 10.9 million financial 2021. Any comments about the current portfolio? I believe, again, it's a question out of the scope of this presentation because I don't know whether MD would want to comment on the portfolio, but as we understand in terms of governance, it has been our advice as the manager to the issue for the company to concentrate on its core business post-listing and perhaps move the share trading operation to another company so that the listed company remains focused on the business going forward. MD, your comments?
Yes. We have planned for that reduce our share investment in stock exchange. Next, within a next 3 months period, we will reduce our portfolio and cash invest to our core business.
That's a good move. Basically, in the hands of the minority shareholders, the company is committing here on to concentrate on the core business of real estate development. As we wait for the next question. Okay, the next question has arrived. What kind of geography and demography do you focus?
We are currently in Western Province, and we will, as far as possible, be in that province because the Western Province is the fastest developing area in the country, and the road network is developing. And as you know, Gampaha, Kadawatha, and Kottawa, those are the areas that we are willing to invest in land because the people are now looking for properties in those areas because people cannot now move into Colombo. The land prices have gone up, and they want to settle down in Kalutara and Gampaha districts. So we will be concentrating on those areas. And our market segment is mainly newly wedded couples and their families. They want to put up houses for their dwelling. That is the area that we are concentrating. And also we have found a few customers who like to purchase a property as an investment. That is also a good market. So we are looking at those two segments mainly.
Chairman, there's an extension to that question. Someone is asking, could you identify your competitive advantage?
Trust is our competitive advantage. That is because when we are selecting a project, land, we do our own appraisal. And we will not sell anything to our customers if it is not not only the property, we will look into the title of the property also, and what we sell is the trust more than the land. Because people will, if we select a bad project, our clients will be suffering. So we know that if we give them a good property with trust and good legal title, we know that they will be happy, and because that is going to be their lifetime investment. So that's the main competitive advantage we have.
The next question is on the market share of this company in the real estate market. I believe there are no information available in the public domain actually to answer this question. But the next one, the annexure to the question is about the market positioning of the company. It's asking, what is your market positioning? Chairman?
Right now we are not in the middle or upper level. We have positioned ourselves in the land market for affordable land market, and we don't want to go into very high priced lands, because we are, as I have told you all, our client base is mainly small timers and those who want to put up a house. They don't want to invest a lot their money on land itself. They want to put up a house as well. So our market segment mainly consists of small timers market, and as our geographical area also outside Colombo city, we will be remaining in that segment.
Chairman, there's a question on the peer competitors in terms of the revenue model. As you explained, the company is not going for high value lands. That's one. And also it's the company is not moving into the apartments, the most sought after prime locations. The peers, in terms of this particular cluster that you're concentrating, are you able to comment on their revenue model? The question is, who are the peer competitors with your revenue model? Are you able to?
It's very difficult to answer because there are a large number of small timers doing this business as individuals, and few other firms, but those are private limited liability companies. But we will be moving into the other segment, going to be listed company, and we will be working as a more responsible company in the future. So I don't expect any drastic kind of a competition from the peers as well, because we have now identified ourselves as a different company in a different working in a different model.
And also, Chairman, we have rightly mentioned in the prospect also that the country's population is growing, so there will be a demand for housing, and affordable housing is one of your key focuses, and it is actually linked to the next question also. When you say affordable, what is the budget line? I believe they are looking at an answer where, in terms of numbers, like whether it's 10 to 15 million or 15 to 25 million range, or I think they are looking for that answer.
If you take the past, it's less than 10 million, because our property cost is going to be below 3 million, 4 million, in that range. With that, they can put up their own house with little more money. Maybe I can guess it is 10 million or below.
The next question is on your plans to improve the market share in the future. I believe your immediate focus is on the Gampa district for the moment, because of the fact that the Central Expressway is nearing completion, and therefore opportunity for landowners to position themselves closer to the exits and then perhaps travel even on a daily basis without much hassle traffic to Colombo. I believe you are looking at that aspect, but the question is, how do you intend to improve the market share? Any plans, any strategies on that?
This is one of our continuous efforts. Our MD and the team, our dedicated team of staff, they are working on this aspect and looking for properties in this area where Rohan has very rightly mentioned the expressway connections and the other road network developments. So we are looking at properties in close to this fast developing area. That is how we want to, our strategy is mainly concentrated on that area.
The next question is perhaps to us, the managers. The price to book value multiple. I think before we answer that question, we must emphasize that this company's operating structure does not warrant to hold large amount of assets. There are certain different business models, and even the assets that they hold, the assets held by this company are lands and they are tradable stock. So therefore the price to book value multiple is at a given date, will be X, but if such lands are sold in the next few months, it can be X minus something. I think Chandana, you might want to take this question.
Yes, when it comes to the price to book value ratio of last year, the book value was about 2 rupees and 45 cents, and when compared to the IPO price of 12 rupees, it's about 4.5 times the PBV. But as Rohan explained, this is actually a land sale business where stocks are not held, so capital is not tied up there. So huge capital investment is also not considered to increase the equity, because the company also focus on borrowings as well, where the funding mix is from both equity and debt. Therefore, the equity base is at a modest level, which leads to a higher price to book value ratio. But in terms of earnings, I think it will be a attractive proposition for investors, where when consider the land turnaround times and everything, the PE approach would be the most appropriate method to evaluate this business than the price to book value method, I guess.
Thank you, Chandana. As we await the next question. I believe this question has come up again, but we can give a summarized version answer to this. What are the company's strengths? Yeah, maybe 1, 2, 3.
Number one is the experience of our managing director. He has a lot of experience, and he has worked for several major companies in the island, and that is a strength. And also we have a very good, dedicated, experienced staff. That is the number two wealth we have. And the other thing, we have the confidence. I mean, we know the business, and we think we can, therefore we can continue the business with a rich and lucrative bottom line. Those are our main key features of the company.
And also, Chairman, the second line of the management team, the information is given in the prospectus. They are also vastly experienced in this business, and there are adequate measures taken to manage the risk, even succession planning, grooming. These are some of the areas I believe that you're concentrating on. And overall, the team's strength, I think, will stand in good stead in the future to carry on this business, eventually rewarding the minority shareholders who are about to subscribe for this IPO. All right, I think there are no further questions. That's what I'm told. So I would like to hand over the proceedings to Dilini.
Ladies and gentlemen, this marks the conclusion of our Q&A session, and I hope it was very informative for all of you tuning in. Now, I would like to cordially invite Mrs. Iresha Disanayaka, Executive Director, Myland Developments Limited, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Finally, I thank you everyone for your engagement and participation of Investors Forum of Myland IPO, and we are very happy to share our benefits to our business with our new investors as well. So therefore, join hand and invest our success story in the Myland Developments Limited. Myland, building your future.
Thank you, Mrs. Disanayaka. You may download the prospectus and the application forms from www.myland.lk or the Colombo Stock Exchange website. Now, the provision is also provided to you to make your applications via the CSE mobile application. Thank you very much.
An emerging and notable player in the real estate industry. Soon to be listed on Virisavi board of the Colombo Stock Exchange. Promises on building your future. Myland IPO. Atara Capital Partners, financial advisor and manager to the offer.